for joining us today. We're here with Dr. Rinta to go over some commonly asked questions about vaccines. My first question is, why do I need to vaccinate my pet?
Well, it's important to follow a good vaccine plan for your pet because you don't want to have your pet die or contract some preventable disease.
Okay. And I've heard that you don't have to vaccinate your pet every year. Is this true?
Well, not entirely, because there are certain vaccinations that should be given every year to dogs and cats, but there's other vaccinations that can be given every 3 years. So you would want to consult your veterinarian to develop a specific program for your pet to make sure that they receive the proper vaccinations each year.
Okay. If my pet's not due for any vaccines, do I still need to bring him into the clinic for an exam?
That's a really good question. I recommend that you do take your pet or your dog or kitty into the veterinarian every year for an annual examination, because that combined with the proper vaccinations are going to help keep your pet the healthiest possible.
Okay. I've heard a lot about the term core versus non-core vaccine. Could you explain the difference between those?
Yeah, that's a new term that has come out in the last few years. Core vaccines would be vaccinations that every dog and cat should be vaccinated for and kept up to date. Non-core vaccines would be optional vaccines, so they're not necessarily recommended for every single pet.
And which core vaccines would my dog need?
Yeah, the core vaccines that are used for dogs would be distemper virus, the parvovirus, and adenovirus, as well as rabies vaccination.
And for a cat, what would be considered a core vaccine?
Yeah, core vaccines for cats would be panleukopenia, the herpes virus, calicivirus, and then also rabies vaccination.
And what would be an example of a non-core vaccine for a cat or a dog?
Yeah, so a non-core vaccine for a dog might be the Bordetella bronchoseptica for kennel cough, or leptospirosis, or even Lyme's disease. So not every dog would necessarily need each one of those vaccinations depending on their risk factors. The non-core vaccines for cats would be in the category of feline leukemia, or the feline AIDS virus vaccine, the FIV vaccine, because not every kitty is outside where they might be at a high risk to develop those infections.
Okay. And do I need to worry about vaccine reactions in cats and dogs?
Yes, that's a very good question. Vaccine reactions, we do need a concern with that because vaccines are not just benign entities. They are actual medications that are being administered. And most vaccines can cause just some mild reactions like lethargy or maybe inappetence that might last for less than 24 hours, in most pets. So it passes within a day. But there can be more serious reactions as well, all the way to the point of having an anaphylactic reaction. So it is important to have your pets vaccinated, hopefully with the care of your veterinarian so that they can educate you on those risk factors and the adverse effects to make sure that you are, again, vaccinating properly.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rinta. That concludes our section on vaccines today.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.